YouTube? This is Adam Noise Productions, and welcome to this episode of the Godzilla Vlogs, where we talk about anything and everything Godzilla. So the new trailer for Godzilla Resurgence, or Shin Godzilla, depending on which title you like, was just released. In fact, it was released this day, and I think I've watched it 100 times now, and I think I'm finally ready to kind of talk about it. This is an opportunity I didn't want to pass up. I've already done a video, really kind of going into my thoughts of Shin Godzilla so far. I went into my thoughts on the suit that we knew so far. I definitely went into a lot of detail, Shinji Higuchi and Hideaki Anno. Go watch that video. It's the very first episode of the Godzilla Vlogs. And so they just released this trailer with the full body design. Now I saw this picture of the full body design. I was like, it's a mixture of Godzilla and Jabba the Hutt, because just to kind of recap my thoughts on the suit, I don't really like it. It kind of went too far to the right. Like if Godzilla 98, if that design went too far to the left, this design for Shin Godzilla went too far to the right. I didn't really care for it. I think it looks ugly. I like the head. I didn't mind the head other than the teeth. But again, I also said many times that I would reserve judgment until I see it in motion. Because I had a very similar opinion of the 2014 Godzilla. The 2014 Godzilla design I actually didn't like until I actually saw it in the movie. And the more I actually see it in the movie, the more I actually like that design. I was watching this trailer, and I saw this design, and I said, it's not as bad as what it could have been. And it truly isn't, in my opinion. I've heard some people call this Godzilla suit Derpzilla, but I strongly disagree with that. Personally, I disagree with that. Just because if you think this Godzilla suit looks like Derpzilla, quite frankly, you should think the original one looks like Derpzilla as well, because it had the same eye structure and so on and so forth. So I saw the design, and it looked so wrinkly. Like this, at first, it wasn't a great picture. It was shared on my group Geeks for Geeks. Thanks to Joseph Vizina. I believe he was the one that posted it. I looked at this picture, I studied it over, and I was like, okay. Again, I'm still going to reserve judgment until I really see it in motion. But I said, it looks okay, though it kind of looks like Jabba the Hutt, because again, it had all these like weird, almost like fatty rolls on it. And I should know what fatty rolls are, I'm fat as fuck. I was like, okay, but you know, something that I really did like about it is I love how black the skin is. This is also in the trailer itself. I love that skin color. Like, I love my Godzilla darker. For example, the Godzilla in the Godzilla saga, both of them, their skin is not just charcoal gray, it's almost black. Quite frankly, almost like GMK. GMK is the darkest Godzilla made until Shin Godzilla, really. Not just in terms of tones, no. I mean like in terms of its actual skin color. I think Shin Godzilla just beat it. I think that Godzilla looks black. Quite frankly, its skin color looks black, and I generally like that. I was like, okay. I still think the arms are really weird. The arms are really, really weird, but, you know, I guess I can get past that. At least they have them kind of like bent. You know, like Haruo Nakajima started in the original Godzilla to make the arms look shorter. At least they're bent, you know, I can at least say that. I see this trailer not long after he posted that picture, and I was like, oh god. And I clicked it, and to be honest, I was expecting something like a first teaser trailer, where the first teaser trailer is nothing but people running down the streets, cut to a typical Evangelion-style black screen with white text on it, saying Shin Godzilla. You know, I was like, okay, that's kind of what I was expecting. I was actually expecting something quite dialogue heavy, you know, where we don't see anything of Godzilla, we just see like the aftermath of his destruction and so on and so forth. Something very similar to the first Godzilla 2014 teaser trailers. The first thing that I really liked about it is that they used the TOHO Scope logo, the old TOHO Scope logo. I'm like, fuck yeah, I love that logo. The very first shot is a close-up of Godzilla's face roaring in what looks like a hand puppet. I mean, it looks really good, don't get me wrong, but it looks kind of like a hand puppet. Again, Shinji Higuchi, who's doing the special effects for this movie, thank God, he's wonderful. Even in Attack on Titan, said he was using a mixture of CGI and practical effects, and that was showed up beautifully in this trailer. Because he actually blended them together a lot better here than he did in Attack on Titan. Granted, there's a lot more stuff he had to do in Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan had a lot of movement and everything like that. Shin Godzilla, there's not too much movement, and I like that. I don't think there should be too much movement in a Godzilla movie, quite frankly. And I'm not meaning from like place to place to place. I mean like in terms of camera movements or crazy camera movements and so on and so forth. There really shouldn't be. I mean, Godzilla's kind of like a lumbering giant tank, and this movie's clearly capitalizing on that. I don't believe that they are going to use that classic Godzilla roar as Shin Godzilla's final roar. I believe that full-heartedly, that they're not going to do that. They are going to make either their own roar, or they're just going to... Actually, I'm pretty sure that they're going to make their own roar, and I'm very curious to see what they're going to make for their roar, considering that Shinji Higuchi did such an amazing job Well, it wasn't Shinji Higuchi. It was the sound designers did such a wonderful job on Attack on Titan. As much as I shitmouth that movie, the thing that I shitmouth about the Attack on Titan movies is mainly the story and the acting. The special effects are fine, though clunky at points, but for the most part they are fine, and the sound design is really good, and the music is really good. The other thing that I want to note about this trailer is that I liked that music that they played, and instantly I recognized it as being something composed by that man, I forget his name, who did the music for Neon Genesis Evangelion, The Rebuilds, and Attack on Titan. He's worked with Hideaki Anno and Shinji Higuchi a lot, and I instantly recognized his style. If you listen to the track used on the new Godzilla Resurgence trailer, and you also listen to some of his work that he did for Rebuild of Evangelion 1.0 and Rebuild of Evangelion 2.0, they are very, very similar. I left out 3.0 because 3.0 had a bigger orchestra. Quite frankly, I think the score for 3.0 is phenomenal. His score, this man's score, and it irks me that I can't remember his name, and I apologize, but credit where credit is due. His score for Evangelion 3.0 is so gorgeous and big, and I love it. And quite frankly, I think he's perfect for doing this score. The only other person that I think could have done a better job than him is Yoko Kanno, and I don't think they were going to hire Yoko Kanno to do the music for Shin Godzilla. But this trailer did something completely unexpected and showed off Godzilla. And I'm like, oh my god. And it looked good. It looked genuinely good. And this is why I love practical effects. I could tell that this Godzilla had some CGI touch-ups, of course, but it looked good. My only complaint, really, with this, unless I was getting into nitpicking and stuff, is that this Godzilla suit looks actually very stiff. No wonder that, because this Godzilla is over 400 feet tall. I've said in the first video I talked about Shin Godzilla that I believe that is too tall. I believe the American Godzilla from 2014 is too tall. I don't think Godzilla should ever really cap out at the 300, should really cap out at the 300 feet. As I said, in the Godzilla saga, Godzilla is 280 feet tall. And I think that's really tall. Shin Godzilla is the tallest Godzilla to date. It looks really stiff, and I've read some of the comments, and a lot of people were kind of like, yeah, or some reactions to the trailer, like, yeah, that's their biggest thing, is that Godzilla looks really stiff. I'm okay with that, because a 400-foot tall dinosaur would move very slowly. What looks so slow to us wouldn't be slow to it. But he does look very stiff. You don't really see him turning much. It's just him kind of walking forward. What you see moving is his tail, which his tail is abnormally long. I mean, Godzilla has had long tails before. My favorite design, the 91 design, had a very, very long tail. This one is fucking huge. And the spikes look good. They're kind of the cross between, Jagged and Maple Leaf. It's kind of like a crossbreed between the two. I'm fine with that. And there's a couple of shots, I gotta say this, they made Godzilla look terrifying. And it's not just Godzilla at night either. Actually, almost all the shots that he's in this film are during the day. Broad daylight. Ballsy, alright? Ballsy to show what you've got right here, because if it looks bad, it's going to look even worse in daytime. That's why a lot of old tokusatsu movies, and even ones in the 90s, did their stuff at night. Because they could hide some of the trickery to it. They could hide some of the faults in the set. They did all this in daytime, especially when you're going up against an American blockbuster movie with less than half the budget. It looks really damn good. My friend says there's a couple scenes that look kind of fake. That Godzilla looks fake in it. I'm gonna let it slide because, one, I love the fact that they're using a suit. I think that's a suit. I'm pretty sure that that's actually a suit. If not, then it's like a really controlled kind of puppet, which wouldn't surprise me either. I'm pretty sure they're using actually both, because I know that there's multiple versions of Shin Godzilla's design out there, judging by all the pictures that was released. Anyway, he said that a couple things look fake, and I'm like, this movie had literally less than half the budget of the American movie, and there are some shots in here that I think capture Godzilla better than in 2014. And I said that to my friend, and he understood why, and I was like, I think this looks amazing, given what they have. And this may be, oh my god, what the fuck's going on upstairs? This may be Shinji Higuchi's best work. I'm not sure, but it's looking like it's going to be. I think he's going for a few awards here. He wants to get recognized. Well, it's a Godzilla movie. Both Hideaki Anno and Shinji Higuchi have dreamed of working on a Godzilla movie. Of course they're going to put their blood and guts and sweat into it. There is a couple of shots in this that Godzilla looks absolutely fucking evil. And I mean terrifying. Not since the 2001 design has Godzilla looked so terrifying. And rightfully so. I think that's definitely what Shinji Higuchi and Hideaki Anno, well, Hideaki Anno wrote it. Hideaki Anno did not care for Godzilla 2014. I found that out recently. And there's no doubt in my mind that this Godzilla is not a nice guy. And I actually liked the contrasts with this Godzilla in 2014. First off, we're getting 2 Godzilla franchises, guys. That's so fucking awesome. I would actually like to apologize for my voice. I'm actually getting over another cold, and I lost my voice and I just barely gained it back. Plus, I've been working nonstop on Which Way They Walk, which by the time this is up, she will probably have been released already. So this is a dark Godzilla, and it's very much so showed because if you watch the trailers for the American Godzilla, you never see the military. You see the military fighting something, but you never see them actually directly shooting Godzilla. With a few very exceptions, the bridge scene, for example. You see direct fire, you see direct lines of fire at Godzilla. You see helicopters firing, very similar to some of the shots in the first episode of Evangelion, by the way, of them shooting at the first angel. I found that interesting. We have tanks firing, and Godzilla's just being covered in these explosions, and he's just walking right through it. Some great shit. And that's terrifying. They're doing something that I genuinely like, and that is Godzilla is almost an unstoppable force. As Dr. Yamane called it in the original Godzilla, Godzilla was baptized in the fires of the atomic bomb. What makes you think tanks and guns, regular guns, can kill him? And that's clearly what they're going for with this in his design and everything, that he is a mutation. Something I wasn't expecting to like, but I wound up liking, is Godzilla clearly has like chunks of like where his scales have been burned away. He looks like he's covered in like burn marks where his flesh has been exposed. I didn't think I liked it because I didn't like it in the pictures I saw, but when I saw it on screen, they looked very red, and it contrasted with the black really well. And for example, if you notice, there's one shot where Godzilla has his back turned to us, and you see his spikes before the tail covers the camera. It's all red going down the line there. It caught me off guard how much I liked that. I've always thought black and red worked really good together. The suits in G-Force, for example, in the Godzilla saga, are black and red. I always love the mismashing of those colors, the mix-mashing of those colors. Black and red, I feel, are great colors to work together. Seeing those scar tissue all over Godzilla and his scales being black, it caught me off guard how much I liked it, and yes, I will say that's fine, and I don't mind that. I still think his hands look fucking terrible. And the reason why I'm actually kind of reviewing, I'm not really reviewing, but I'm giving my honest opinions, again, these are just opinions, guys, of what I think the suit is, because now I've seen it in motion. This movie clearly shows this design in motion, and I can say that I like it more. I do like it more. It's still not the design I would go with, and it's still not... It's not a good design, if that makes sense. It's not a perfect design. I like it more, but it's still not the design I would have gone with, and still not the design that I would have used in this movie. But given the thematic probability that this film is going to be, you know, very dark and have nuclear allegories, clearly it's going to have some nuclear elements in it because there's several scenes where you see these nuclear reactor workers running around. It'll probably fit with the movie. And if there's anything I like about Shinji Higuchi makes themes fit with the movie. And a great example being the Gamera 3. In Gamera 3, the design of Gamera very much so fit the tone of that movie. If he used the suit from Gamera 2, Advent of Legion, in Gamera 3, it wouldn't have worked because the themes became so much darker in Gamera 3. The suit had to become darker. And this is what I think is going to happen here, and this is why I think in Shin Godzilla, the design overall is going to work. I still have major problems with that suit, but nevertheless, I think it'll work with the thematic sense of the movie. It's why I like my opinion of the 67 suit. The The 67 suit, though ugly as fuck, works with the themes of that movie. And I won't get into details there. I've gone into details on this before in a video I did on my old dead channel, Chopper Pilot 5, where I gave my opinions on all the Godzilla suits. My thoughts on those, though slightly toned down, have remained relatively the same. Go watch that if you wish. Now, the other thing that I really like about this is that we also managed to get quite a few human shots. There's no dialogue in this trailer, which again is the opposite of what I was expecting, but that was fine. It just basically showed us images of what this movie is going to be about. The movie's going to be big, I can tell you that. I think this is actually like the biggest Godzilla movie, not in terms of budget-wise, but in terms of the amount of extras in it. I believe this is the biggest Godzilla movie to date, which I'm really excited for, because you all, if you follow my channel at all, you know that I like epics and that I like a lot of extras. And there's some great shots of people being evacuated in the streets, and you see them moving about cars that just look fantastic. There's a lot of really personal shots of this movie. It basically kind of revealed some of the cast. I didn't really recognize any of them, to be completely honest. Though I bet you they're well known in Japan. I didn't personally recognize any of them. All I know is that one of them, I believe, played in Final Wars, but I don't really recognize any of this cast, which is fine. And what I noticed with a lot of these shots, these personal shots, they were all close-ups, first off. They were all close-ups. But what I noticed is that the cinematography in this movie is utilizing the widescreen aspect ratio extremely well. And that is, the camera's not moving very much, if at all. Your eye is just pinned to the screen because there's something in the foreground and there's something over here. I mean, of course, this film is shot digitally. It's much harder to do that with film, to show depth of field in film. I don't know if this movie's being shot in 4K or not. I doubt it. But this film used the widescreen aspect ratio very, very well, and it often isolated these characters in corners of the screens. You'll see several times in which way they walk. I've done that, where there's like a character like really close here to the camera. I don't know why the fuck I just did that, because you guys won't be able to see it. Where somebody is really close to the camera and then somebody's like further away, and the person who's further away is what we're focusing on, and they're kind of like the person closer to the camera in the foreground is like blocking out like a huge chunk of the screen, leaving like the other character kind of isolated in this tiny little box. I like that kind of cinematography, and this film looks chock full of it. And I'm like, yes, that made me so happy. This movie, I'm very excited for this movie. This movie and Warcraft are the two movies I'm excited for. Oh man, I am super hyped now, you know, super hyped. And I know on Geeks for Geeks I said my hype has disappeared. Those are some extremely, I overreacted to something, and I apologize for that. I am hyped for this movie. And if anything, I'm not going to say this is a solo Godzilla movie, but that's what it's looking like it is. And I kind of hope it is. I hope it is. And I was talking with Dylan for the first time in forever. Dylan McCandless from the Sons of Sarazawa. I was talking with him about it, and he says, I hope this isn't like Godzilla 54 or 84 in the sense that they're going to rehash a lot of things. I'm actually okay if they rehash some stuff, because 84 was made over 30 years ago. I'm okay if they rehash some stuff, okay? I'm okay with that. But what I'm looking at this film is, it's the Godzilla film that I want, which is scientists and military guys trying to stop Godzilla. That's what I want. And some people can say that Godzilla 2014 is really about that. I don't really think it is. Godzilla 2014, quite frankly, is about the Mutos, not Godzilla. I want scientists to stop Godzilla. And Godzilla 2014 also has Ford in it, Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, which brings us into the field. This movie looks very much so like it's the general's point of view and the scientist's point of view of how they're going to try to stop this giant monstrosity that is, quite frankly, destroying the country. We don't really see too much for destruction in this trailer, which is okay. I bet you there's going to be plenty of it, knowing Shinji Higuchi. Now, watching this trailer, I was also kind of wondering, because Hideaki Anno and Shinji Higuchi are co-directing the movie together, not just in terms of special effects and actual directing, no, they're actually co-directing the movie together. Who is directing the movie? Or what did, they direct? Seeing some of Hideaki Anno's live-action work and seeing all of his anime, just about, being a huge fan of Neon Genesis Evangelion and so on and so forth, What I'm thinking is that Shinji Higuchi directed a lot of the scenes with a lot of extras because he was used to that with Attack on Titan, and a lot of the special effects heavy shots. He probably directed. I bet you Hideaki Anno, judging by his movies, actually directed the more personal scenes of the film. It's not like they were, not helping each other or anything. They were always on set together, and there's several photos showing them that they're always working together and on set together. It means like somebody just kind of took more control on set than the others. That's what I mean. And I think Hideaki Anno directed the more personal stuff than what Shinji Higuchi did. It wouldn't surprise me if that's how it worked out, because Hideaki Anno is really good at actually capturing human emotions, even though he himself is really awkward about it. Just read up on his bio. But anyways, those are my thoughts on the trailer. I hope you enjoyed. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment telling me what you think. Tell me why I'm a complete retard, or tell me why you agree with me. It doesn't really matter. I love reading all of your comments. By the time this is up, I don't know if Which Way They Walk is up, but if it is, go onto AMP Network and watch Which Way They Walk. We worked really hard on it, and we're very proud of it. So please go over and watch that. Stay tuned for more reviews. Like AN Productions on Facebook. Like the Godzilla Saga on Facebook now that Which Way They Walk is over. I can actually start working on the Godzilla Saga again. And then also, stay tuned for some more shorts that were being made, that we're making. Stay tuned for a short we're making called Fruit, a Gay Love Story. Yes, that is exactly what it sounds like. And this is Adam Noyce of AN Productions saying, join Geeks for Geeks if you want to have a good time.